There's a story about Rabbi Mendel Futerfas. I know I've told a lot of stories about him, but he's a very impressive person. And the Rebbe, he was a tremendously self-sacrificing person. He was in communist Russia. As a picture. It's a little bit sort of shiny reflection. There we go. And the picture of him. Anyway, he was like 7 years of hard labor in Siberia. There's a lot of amazing stories that are told about him, but perhaps the most amazing is this one that I heard. That in the camp where he was, there was a guard, a Jewish guard, and he was very cruel. And he hated Jews, he hated Judaism. That was communism. And it was an unusually cruel person, and especially to Rabbi Mendel Futerfas, who was how do you say, a religious Jew, and he was, a demonstrated obvious, religious Jew. You could see he had keep a beard. I think he had a beard when he was there. But in any case, religious Jew he was, and everyone knew he was religious, and people respected him, except for this one guard. I mean, not that there wasn't anti-Semitism, but even the anti-Semites, usually they have a sense of, a lot of them are motivated by some sort of nationality or something like that, and some of them are, also feel this is expressing their humanness, to get rid of the Jews. In any case, not to get too philosophical about this, but so this guard was a particularly virulent anti-Semite, and he made a lot of trouble for Rabbi Mendel. And Rabbi Mendel never used to talk about it, what he did, but he brought him to like the edge of death a lot of times, just miraculously. Okay, Stalin, may his name be blotted out forever, died in 1953, and Rabbi Mendel got out of prison in 1955. So he was still there for a couple of years. When Khrushchev took over after Stalin, so he started making reformation in all of Russia. And he made his famous speech against Stalin. And he took Stalin's body out of Red Square and things like that. And he sent people to all these different concentration camps and gulags to see how the conditions were, and if there were any guards that were, usurping their power, misusing their power, and acting improperly. So, and there were a lot of cases that were reviewed. That's why Rabbi Mendel got out. Anyway, so they came to the camp where Rabbi Mendel was, and they had a list of all of the guards and all the prisoners, and they went to the prisoners one by one, right? And they took them into interview, and they reviewed their cases, and they asked them, the prisoners, about the guards. What about this guard? What about this guard? Is he cruel? When they got to this cruel guard, so they said, what about him? And the prisoner said, this guard asked Futerfas. Ask Mendel Futerfas. He'll tell you. He's got a whole list of things to tell you. So they brought Rabbi Mendel Futerfas in. And they said, this guard, we heard he did a lot of bad things to you. What do you have to say about it? Now, this guard was a Jew. Rabbi Mendel Futerfas said, I haven't got anything bad to say about it. I haven't got anything to say about it. All the guards were terrible. They were all, but not about him, especially not. So they said, okay. And they let him. The other prisoners came to Rabbi Mendel and said, what did you do? We wanted you to say bad things about him. Everybody had bad things to say about him. But we figured you would really throw a couple of big logs into the fire. And really, so Rabbi Mendel Futerfas said, it says in the Tanya, in the fourth chapter, the fourth book of the Tanya, chapter 22, it says it elsewhere also, but it says, Ish's Ras Re'ehu, the bad things of your friend, you shouldn't even bring up into your thoughts. Shouldn't even bring up to your thoughts. It says, Ish's Ras Re'ehu, Al Tachshavol V'Livachem. You should not even bring it up in your heart. Don't even think about it. So therefore, all the things that he did to me, I didn't even bring it up in my thoughts, in my heart. I don't think about it. I don't think about it. I've forgotten it, wiped it out. Of course, he didn't totally wipe it out. He was what he did was done, but he didn't take it in a personal way to himself, as though it was a dream or something like that. So, in other words, Rabbi Mendel took a message from the Tanya of truth, that the truth should overcome any negativity, even this terrible negativity. I mean, you could say it wasn't revenge, it was just justice. You could make a million excuses. And this person certainly deserved it. But nevertheless he said, okay, that's maybe, if God wants to punish him, I'll punish him. But I have to do what it says in the Tanya. In the Tanya, it says that you should not allow hatred of another Jew to come into your heart. And therefore, I didn't have anything negative to say about it. A totally, if you want to call it, superhuman task. And that's the essence of what a Jew is to be superhuman, like Abraham, to only be positive in the most negative situations. And we are in a negative situation, this physical world. And to be positive means to make a dwelling for God in the physical world. Have a good day with Mashiach now. See you all, God willing, on Sunday, Gimel Tammuz, 8 o'clock in the morning. Shalom uvracha. Shabbat shalom.